evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Soul Exp The Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel, alongside my boy, Jamell.
What's going on, people? How you feeling? Yes, indeed. So today, we have two very great guests today. My brothers here, I met them at InvestFest. If you're not familiar with InvestFest, that is by Earn Your Leisure. And they are a group that are going out here in these streets of New York and helping these children learn chess and also teaching them how, your game of chess also helps you correlate to life and how that helps you really develop the certain mindset that's going to take you further in life. So I'm proud and really honored to bring my boy Chris, my guy Abdul from Project Pawn. How you guys feeling today?
Good, brother. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you guys here. Very, very glad to have you guys here. And especially as someone that picked up chess not too long ago, I'm very, very excited to get some wisdom from the feet of Mount Olympus, if I do say so.
Well, we just want to welcome you officially. Welcome to the realm of the thinkers, man. Welcome to the realm of the thinkers.
Thinkers, for sure. So, first off, let's get some, backstory from both of you and how, Project Pawn came to be about.
Well, the story starts a long time, way before Project Pawn, elementary school. So I've known Abdul since, kindergarten, probably before that.
Wow.
We go way back.
Yeah. So I started playing chess in the first grade. We have similar stories, actually. When I was in kindergarten, my friend was traveling to North Carolina for a national championship. And when the day they were leaving, I'm like, why are you going to North Carolina? Are you flying in a plane? You staying in a hotel? You eating at restaurants?
Yeah.
And so he's like, yeah. So I'm like, so if I join the team, I get to do those things too?
The chess team?
Yeah.
They were
Elementary school.
Elementary, so this is kindergarten.
They were flying y'all out?
Yeah.
Wait, how old is that? How old? What age are we talking about?
5, 6 years old.
And you being flown out, staying in hotels, eating restaurant, no more chicken nuggets.
Right.
The restaurant chicken.
They had tenders now. They up there.
the Grey Poupon mustard on the chicken.
Yes, sir. Talk to him.
And so I'm like, that means if I join a chess team, I get to travel. Yeah. So what happened was in kindergarten, I kept going every morning. She kept telling me no. Miss Easton, shout out to Miss Easton, our chess coach, wonderful woman, great lady. Like, we'll talk more about her later. But every day I was going, she kept telling me no. First grade rolls around, and she ends up coming to get me from class, and that's how I joined the team. So it started for me wanting to travel and want to do all these things. And then once I got on the team, I just got hooked, and it just became something that I just did all day, every day.
Fine.
Yeah, for myself, Chris was on the chess team, and I'd always see Chris traveling, and I would ask him questions like, hey, bro, where you going? What are you doing? So he's like, hey, you join the chess team, you learn how to play, you get to travel, we get to go to different states, get to meet different people and things like that. And I thought that was really important for me. We grew up in a really rough neighborhood, so all we saw was our environment. Mm-hmm. So to hear that, hey, this is an opportunity to get out of New York. I mean, I played basketball. I would do the New York City circuit in basketball in elementary school, but I wasn't in an AAU team. I didn't travel. Mm-hmm. So chess was like I get to see a different face, a different creed and experience this game on a whole different level. So I learned, and then I joined the team. And for me, it was middle school, 5th grade for me.
5th grade for you. So what do you think was the difference between basketball and chess outside of the traveling? Because basketball more stimulates, your physical, your body. It's also a very big mental game. So what was the difference, especially as an athlete, transitioning into chess?
So the beautiful thing about chess is you don't have to be athletic to play, right? Yeah. So when you first start playing basketball, it's based on like, all right, can he dribble? How good is his jump shot? Can he score? Is he tough on these New York City streets? All of these things. But chess is more of like, can he think? And it doesn't matter. It could be the biggest, scariest guy sitting in front of you. That doesn't matter. It matters about how you play the game and how you strategically make the move. So for basketball, for me, it was just, all right, I felt like it's something I picked up early. I was really good at it, and I loved just the, you know, how it was embraced in the neighborhood. You know, you got a ball player, you know, what did Jay say? I don't know if I could talk like that on your podcast, but you either with your jump shot or you sling a crack rock, something like that. So, so the opportunities weren't really where we come from. It's like, you either one way or the other, right? And, you know, everybody had that I want to make it to the NBA mindset.
Yeah.
So chess was just a whole different outlet. It was like, okay, this ain't about clout. This ain't about this. This ain't about that. This is about how sharp your mind is. And I love that, you know, at a young age.
That's fire.
Yeah.
And would you say that might have influenced how you played basketball?
Yeah, it would help you anticipate moves, right? So you know when guys are playing ball and they're doing all these drills now, they're like, okay, if my defender, if they step forward, I'm going to attack that leg and I'm going to drive at this angle. Like, so it's like chess is already like that.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating what my defenders are doing.
Hezzy here, behind the back there.
Right, right. So yeah, all of that. So chess. Definitely teaches you that times 10. Basketball is like, yeah, you figure out the variations, you study film. Chess is like millions of variations. Like,
where in New York did you guys grow up?
In the Bronx.
In the Bronx.
Yeah.
Bronx, Boogie Down.
RPT, River Park Towers.
Yeah, shout out to River Park Towers, man. That place is, I love it, and it made us everything who we are, but it's definitely was a lot of humble beginnings.
Yeah. And we lived in the same building, too.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, really was like
Sandbox.
Sandbox, yeah. Exactly.
Sandbox.
That's fire.
Wow.
That's fire. Okay. And Jay. And so like, and tell me more about, you know, your you told me about like how you went from in elementary school and then they started to fly you guys out, right? And so now like let's go a little bit further up because he kind of went up. His started a little bit later in the timeline. Mm-hmm. So around that same time, where was it for you?
So same grade. So so by fourth grade, I got really good at chess. It was all I did, and so I was like one of the best in the Bronx. Not to toot my own horn, but
Okay.
we don't give ourselves enough credit.
I can talk.
And so you know, I just got really. I was playing chess all day, every day. It'll be breakfast, chess, lunch, chess, and then when I got home after school, more chess.
Wow.
Every Saturday, every Sunday, I was playing in tournaments. And this was from when I was able to travel on my own, probably about 5th grade to 8th grade, that 4-year time span. That's like literally, that was my schedule every day.
Wow.
And then when I got to high school, I stopped playing for a bit and I started coaching. It was my after school job in high school, started coaching. And then there was a time frame where I just kind of stopped playing chess. There was no chess at all for about 6 years. And then
What rekindled that?
But why did you stop in the first place, especially going from someone that loves chess and spent so much of their life dedicated to chess to take a 6-year break? It's like you breaking up. That's not even breaking up. That's a divorce.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much because I hated chess or anything like that. It was more so other things, other aspects of life got in the way. And then chess just kind of faded into the background. And, you know, I would play every now and again, go to a park. If I ran into a family member, somebody that wanted to play, I would play chess. But for a while, it wasn't like the serious studying, going to tournaments and competing. But what happened was I was taking college classes, ran into a friend, and he told me about a chess company that was hiring. So all right, nice salary. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get back into it. So I start teaching there for a year, and it was just that year. But that's what, you know, kind of sparked my love for chess back up. And not too far after that, ran into Abdul again, and we had similar ideas of starting a chess company. And so we said, why don't we just come together and do it together? And that's how Project Pawn was born.
Yes, indeed. And for the people that don't know much about Project Pawn, tell them more about what it does, because I only said a little bit, so y'all brothers can elaborate a bit better than I can.
Okay, so Project Pawn is an organization, is a mentoring organization through the game of chess. So we teach our students, we teach them how to play chess, but we also teach them how to apply those skills to life. So not only do they learn how to be an excellent thinker, they learn how to make those decisions in real life situations. And that is very important. It's very important. And for so many reasons. So to circle back to, you know, why we started it, we saw the need in our communities. it was in our community when we were young. It gave us the opportunity to travel. It gave us the opportunity to meet other people, to see other experiences. So we saw that need. And then we also saw that there weren't that many, if any, minority-owned chess companies in New York City. So we felt like that was also an opportunity for us to get in there, to show kids like, hey, we come from where you come from. We started where you're starting, and look where chess has taken us. So that's why we was like, it didn't make any sense. It was a no-brainer at that point to, how can we spark minds? How can we help kids besides the traditional ways that our neighborhoods are accustomed to helping kids, and that was a really good way to connect all of the dots through a chessboard.
I think that's impactful too, because I admired that, because you guys had that type of exposure young, and being able to really get a vast knowledge and a broader view of what the world is like. And we only know as much as we know, and if this vicinity is all we know, and that's all that our mindset is going to be shaped in. So allowing them to actually create these new experiences with you guys, and through the mentoring process and how that really correlates to life. Like I always say this, I end up saying this quote a lot lately, but it's this quote by Benjamin Hardy, who wrote the book Willpower Doesn't Work, and it says, "The mind stretched by new experiences can never revert back to its former dimensions."
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yep.
And so when you really think about that, we're able to really shape. Nothing's really finite when it comes to our realities. Because really, when you change your mindset, you change your life. So when you can really do that, and also have now more strategic capability and more perspicacity, you can really increase your level in the playing field in the world, in this game we call life.
I see you with the perspicacity.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No.
Let me get my dictionary out real quick.
He loves throwing around these big words. But
Since I learned that word, I'm using it.
Perspicacity.
But I want to ask you guys something, because I played a bit of basketball for myself in Guyana, and I played on our junior national team. So when I think about basketball and its impact, especially on minority communities in the U.S., how do you go from telling a kid that's 6'6", who's already who's been dreaming about making it to the NBA, who's been looking around and the community has been telling them, yo, you're going to make it. But how do you then get a kid like that to stop, take a moment and say, I'm going to learn chess, which is typically considered a boring white man's game.
Right.
If we're speaking frankly.
Yeah. I would say it starts from us just getting into the school. You get into the school, you have a chess program at the school, and it starts off with 1 or 2 kids, 2 brave souls that's like, all right, I'll try this out and see, right? And then what happens is those 2 kids get really into it.
Yeah.
And it really also depends on the teacher too, right? We speak the same language, we come from the same culture. So those kids, especially Abdul, who has a basketball background, that kid will see him and you'll make that connection, and then it's like, oh, all right, you're a cool guy. Let me see what chess is about. And once they sit down, chess is just one of those things that once you start playing, it's hard to stop. Like you just get really hooked in. And whoever's delivering the content, they delivering it in the right way. It really helps. Like when we were playing chess, we had 3 gentlemen who would come to the school, and they spoke the same language we did. They're from the same type of neighborhood that we were from, and so it was more like a family than it was some guys coming to teach us chess. And I think that's the big difference between what we do and what some of the other organizations do.
And
Abdul?
To add on to that kid, that big dreamer that's trying to make it to the NBA, we can show how chess connects the dots to sports, and how being just as smart off the court matters as having that high IQ, we call it in basketball. So again, and a lot of kids, if they actually take the time and do the research, a lot of players in the NBA play chess. They don't show it, but a lot of these guys have that knowledge. A lot of athletes have the supreme knowledge of chessboard, because they know having those skills is going to correlate to their game and make them exceptionally better.
It's situational awareness, being able to understand, okay, I could be screwed. You feel me? I could be screwed right here, or
let me not do this right here.
I can revert from making this move, or make a move that's going to really push you back, or make a new move that's going to really advance me in a better way down the line. Might not be in the right in this second play, but you're like 3 moves ahead. If you be able to think that far ahead and further ahead, like when you think about these grandmasters and how far ahead they think, it's insane.
Yeah, man, and it's funny. The NBA had a campaign a long time ago. It might have been like 2008, 2009. They had a commercial of all of the NBA All Stars playing against each other on a chessboard.
Oh, wow.
So they play like and they would pair up.
That's crazy.
And it was like, make your move. I forgot what the headline was, but it showed that connection. And a lot of people don't know that. And
I never knew that.
Yeah.
You might have to find that video.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah. I saw it the other day. Someone posted it, and I was like, wow. It reminded me of just how much chess connects the dots.
So how is chess connected the dots in your own life? Not just traveling, not just, again, giving back to the community, being business owners yourself, but in maybe relationships, which, y'all are attractive brothers, if I do say so myself. So how has chess allowed you to even navigate the relationship aspect of life?
I would say the number one thing is being able to see things from another person's perspective. Because when I'm playing a game of chess against someone, I have to get into their mind and figure out what they're thinking in order to make my plan on my own. So I think empathy and compassion, those 2 things are really the biggest thing that I got from chess and relationships.
And to add on to that, just being able to deviate from your plan or make an adjustment in the moment. You might feel like, hey, this is what I want to do in life. This is what I'm doing. And then life happens and you go, okay, you know what? I can't go that route anymore. And you have to be able to compromise. And even though the end goal is the same, it might not be the game plan you had. And that usually happens in chess, right? You could study this whole game, have this whole setup. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to win. And your opponent throws something at you. And you're like, oh, okay. Now I got to go a different way, a different route, right? Yeah. So I think that's crucial with relationships because, like Chris said, just learning from somebody else, seeing their side of the board or seeing their side of an argument or a proposal, whatever it is. And also just being able to have good sportsmanship. I think that's really important, right?
Yeah.
You might, in a relationship or in a partnership or whatever, you might not be winning in your mind. You might feel like, you're losing or something might be discouraging you, but you have to understand like it's just a part of the game, it's a part of life, it's a part of the course, and as long as you stay the course, then, you'll finish strong, so.
Do you think chess has done anything for your determination? Which, I mean, it sounds like a stupid question, but what do you think? Has it made you more tenacious, more able to weather the storms that life has thrown at you in your collective lives over the years?
I would say so. Absolutely. Chess gives you confidence, right? Especially if it's let's say if you go through a situation in life where you constantly have to sacrifice, constantly have to sacrifice, and you just feel like, okay, like nothing is coming from this. Most of the times on a chessboard, you have to sacrifice a piece. You have to sacrifice something to get to that end goal. And you see it come to fruition on the board. So when you win, you go, okay, that sacrifice wasn't as bad as I thought it was because it helped me get to where I'm going. So like I said, if I gotta go back to school for 2 years, if I gotta sacrifice time with my friends, or if I gotta sacrifice relationships because they're not helping, or if I gotta sacrifice spending money because it's distracting me or pulling me back from making an investment the next year, those sacrifices don't really seem like sacrifices anymore.
Yeah.
So.
And you're conditioning yourself to be making them because now you're seeing the end goal. You have the end goal in mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think especially when it comes to those sacrifices, I think it's important, especially for a society, to really understand, like, we have to make certain sacrifices to really gain the positioning that we want for ourselves. And I think, now, I don't think I realized it until you just said it, but chess really emphasizes that, because I know even more recently I've made a lot of different sacrifices that I understand are the right ones, because I understand where they're going to take me in the long term. And it's always about the long term versus the short term. You don't want to worry about the lead indicators.
Right.
Yeah. To add on to that too, I would say just the process of learning chess helps, because you go from not knowing how any of these pieces move, none of the rules, and through grinding it out, playing every day, losing a bunch of games, getting all your pieces taken, it builds that tenacity. And then once you end up improving and getting to the point where you're able to beat others and become the best on your team or the best in your school, whatever, it shows that hard work pays off, patience pays off, tenacity pays off. And so anytime I'm learning anything new, I use the same approach that I took learning chess to those different things. It's just like a full immersion, and just knowing that it's a process that needs to be taken, and it's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. You got to sacrifice, but at the end of the day, you get out of it what you put into it. Mm-hmm. And going back to chess, like, sacrifice is really important, because when you're playing chess, if you're playing in a safe position, right? If you're just playing it safe, you're not trying to attack, you're not trying to throw your pieces out there, you can last a long time in that game, right? It's just like playing it safe in life. You'll live a long life, but at some point, you're gonna have to either take a risk or the house is gonna come crashing down on you.
Mm-hmm. So how do you decide then? Again, not just in chess, but in life, how do you decide when is that moment to go out and attack? Because as we all know in chess, if you start off guns blazing, you leave yourself open, and you leave yourself too open, right. And now you scrambling to put the house back together and save the pieces that you already have. So how do you decide when that risk is worth it?
It goes back to calculations, right? It goes back to having a plan, a strategy. So okay, you're not gonna try to buy $1 million house and not have any savings, any income, anything like that. Or you're not gonna make a reckless, it goes back to being reckless. So you're not gonna do something really reckless without having to either semi-prepared for it or thought about it. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing in chess, right? If you know you're a risk taker, right? You have to be a calculated risk taker in chess.
Yeah.
Because you have to think, okay, I can go this way, but it can either go one or two ways, but at least I know, like, to have variations of it, as opposed to just being like, all right, I'm gonna just start throwing pieces out there and see what happens. Yeah. And no one lives life like that, right? So it's a good way to practice daily habits of, like, okay, if you play 5 games of chess every day and you practice these skills every single day, 5 times a day, on top of you getting real life practice, you will see your decisions in life start to change. Because you're now making calculated decisions multiple times a day, unconsciously, when you're in the street, because you're like, all right, I ain't gonna do that because I know this might happen. Yeah. Or, what I already thought about that, and that's not gonna get me to where I need to go faster. I'm gonna go the other way. Or so you start to subconsciously and consciously make decisions. And you're like, whoa, I didn't even have to plan that out. It's because you're getting that repetition, you're getting that muscle memory of playing chess and getting that experience on the board. So the board is actually, to me, chess is a cheat code, I feel like, for life. The more you play, the more you get to practice, the more variations and situations you put yourself in, the more things you can learn from. So then when it's time to actually live it in real life, real time, I'm not going to do that. It's not smart. Yeah. And no one might, well, how did you come up with that? I'm not going to tell you, but in your mind, I already calculated everything, and it's like, all right, I know what to do. And I know what not to do, and it shows on the chessboard.
I think that really is a testament to, like, how it really enhances one's perception, and also actually to even correlate with that, on top of the when to take the risk. I think I said it before, maybe like 3 episodes ago, and you mitigate risk with action, right? So you figure out these calculated, like you said, you have different variations. I do this, okay, if he does this to that, or if he does that to that, like, those are the different perceptions and different variations that you have. But now, if you look at it, you take that action, and then you don't allow fear to be your master when it comes to those type of things. When you don't, the fear of failure is going to be worse than the failure itself.
Absolutely.
So I think chess teaches you how to really just, take ownership of every action that you do. Don't be afraid of the mistakes. You need mistakes. You need failure. Fail forward, and try to do what you can with the best possible outcome with what you have, because there's so much to learn from taking what you have and, okay, this is all I got, but I'm gonna make something happen out of it, right?
That's chess. That's what
I'm
chess
gonna make
is.
something happen out of it. There's been situations playing people where they have so much more minor pieces and like stronger pieces than I have to use, but with being relentless and just taking what I have and not being fearful. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. And I actually won. I was like, wow.
So the cool thing about chess is, right, Chris is a stronger chess player than I, but Chris knows every time I play him, I'm going to attack. Like, I'm just going to attack and attack. He could probably beat me 7 times out of 10, maybe 8 or 6 if I'm feeling good that day. but he knows, I know when I play Abdul is aggressive. He is going to attack. So the cool thing about chess is you can tell a lot about a person by playing them in a game of chess. Yeah. You can learn somebody's personality by playing them in a game of chess, right? I don't have to say a word to you. We can come off the street, I can meet you, we can shake hands, we can sit in front of a chessboard, I can tell you almost everything about yourself if I understand chess. And that is the beauty of the game, right? If you like to take risks, it's gonna show on the chessboard. If you're reserved, if you're defensive, if you're very like, I'm not about that, you're gonna have a very strong defensive game.
Yeah.
If you are a live wire, you are gonna, you're attacking me already? All right, cool, right? So that's what I love about chess, because it really gives you, a full perception of yourself, but then it also teaches you how to learn about yourself. So not only am I learning about Chris, I'm like, well, Chris has a really good offensive and defensive game. It's telling me more about him, like, in just the way he thinks on a day to day.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's gonna take risks, but if he's not gonna take risks that's gonna harm him. He's going to take calculated risks that he knows, that he's thought about, that he's, things like that. So I think that's really important. And I think as people learn, as we teach the program, as kids get deeper into the game, it's not just about, hey, I want to have a good rating, I want to travel. It's like, wow, I am learning about myself.
I have to agree with that, because I started chess just about, a month and a half since we started the podcast. And it started with me and Jamell when we had this idea. Well, Jamell had the idea and we've been talking for years about, we should connect on something, and this podcast ended up coming out of it. But I've learned so much about me that it's insane that, maybe you shouldn't have done that. You didn't fully think that through.
Yeah.
That move was gonna lead to that.
Yeah.
But you thought he wouldn't see it, and you still did it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big one. When I teach kids, I'm like, listen, do not make a move thinking that your opponent's not gonna see it. Always expect your opponent to make the very best move. That's going to force you to make your best move. And going back to what he was saying too, another thing about chess that I like is it brings so many different cultures together. I can go to China right now and not speak a word of Mandarin and sit down at a chessboard and play a game with someone, and we're communicating on the board. And even after the game, we can go through the game together and communicate and talk about what move was good, what move was bad, just from using hands and head nods and things like that. So playing chess, like I taught privately for a while, and I was in many different homes, and you used to just see different customs. You eat different kinds of food. There's different kinds of decor in the home, different ways to, there's different table designs, different chess sets, just so many different things that you can be exposed to from playing chess without even having to speak the same language as someone else.
Yeah, in a way, we're brothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vibe. No.
And to add on to that too, generationally wise,
yeah,
in a house, you'll see that 6-year-old that just played, and then you'll see big brother that's in college that's played, and then you'll see dad that works on Wall Street that played. Then you see grandfather that's retired that played. So now you can see 4 or 5. And it doesn't have to be, I don't want to make this masculine. It could be mothers and daughters as well.
Yeah.
But you'll see different generations. They can all sit down and play. And the 5-year, 6-year-old might be the strongest one.
Yeah.
The age doesn't even matter at that point. So that's another thing too. That the language of chess, it transcends generations, customs, religions, creeds. Yeah, it transcends. So that's why we love it.
So,
I was gonna do like a little game. So I wanted to know what is like your most defensive move to. So if someone goes e4, what is your first move?
E5.
E5.
Yeah, I always play E4, E5.
E4.
That's one thing about me. It's like I'll play other openings, but my brain is programmed for that opening.
Quick, yeah.
So even if somebody else plays D4, I'm playing E5. That's all.
What about you, Chris?
I played C5.
C5?
Sicilian.
Sicilian, yeah. Okay, okay. Bye. I just wanted to know that because that's.
You preparing for us? You trying to?
It isn't gonna matter.
What's your second move? What you gonna do after this?
He actually told me on the way over, I'm gonna set them up. I'm gonna ask them all their moves, and then I'm gonna play. Nah, but what I was gonna ask is, what is the toughest situation you found yourself in on the chessboard, and how is that correlated to the toughest situation you found yourself in real life?
That's a good question.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there's plenty of there's plenty of situations, but I would go with one where I was playing an opponent and I felt like I had too many options. Too many moves were good moves, right? And it was a game I was winning, so it's like not to sound crazy, but I knew I wasn't gonna lose. But I actually got stuck for a second. I'm like, wait, how do I attack?
Yeah.
Which way do I go? I have so many options, right? And then sometimes that's not a good thing in life, right? It could be a career choice, it could be a job, it could be picking a mate, it could be a lot of things. So for me, at a point, I realized like I was opening myself up to too many options, right? I wasn't just supremely narrow-minded in decisions I wanted, and I was giving myself too many options.
Yeah.
So I felt like in life, at certain levels, I was like, okay, all right, I have to make tough decisions because I have a lot of options. And some people might not see options as a bad thing, right? I don't think it's always bad, but when you're laser focused, it could be bad.
You don't want to spread yourself too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want. I'm gonna get it done. So that's a really safe parallel to share on the podcast.
And I'll go the opposite with you on that one. I remember when I was playing in a tournament in Philadelphia. I think I was 12 years old at the time. Right. Last round, it was a money tournament too. Like, so chess, I tell the kids this too. Like, you can win some money playing chess. Man. Yeah. So I'm sitting there playing the game, and I'm focused on this one move. You ever playing chess and you're like, I want to make this one move.
Yep.
And I want to make this move work. So I'm going to sit here for like 20 or 30 minutes and make this one move work and find a way to make it happen. Yeah, that's right. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to figure it out, and it just didn't work. So I'm like, okay, well now let me pivot and let me figure out something else that can work, what can work. And I eventually figured it out. And then I'm playing a guy who's looked like he was at least 70. And I'm a young black kid. He was an older white guy, and I don't know what it was. I don't think he could stand to sit there and lose to me. So he ended up leaving the tournament hall when it was already pretty much almost done, and he didn't return. And so I had to sit there for a whole extra hour and wait for his time to run out in order for me to win the game. That's how the game won. That's how I won the game. But going back to life, sometimes, there's one thing you want to do. And, they always say chase your dreams, never give up, and I get that too. But there are times when you got to kind of pivot. You got to kind of shift your focus elsewhere and to get more out of things. And, that happened to me when I stopped playing chess for that period of time. I got into other things, and then it came to a point where I was like, okay, this isn't working. I need to shift my focus. And that was around the same time when I met my friend, and chess kind of came back in my life.
So I think I'll ask one more question about the game of chess, but what would you say has been your most perfect game? I know we got a lot of games in between the both of y'all.
Especially we talking about elementary.
Right?
Wow.
I played an international master, and I was studying the night before on this one opening, and actually not an international. He was a master. Let me correct that. But I was studying this one opening the night before for hours and hours and hours, just studying this one opening, because with one opening, there's so many different ways you can go, right? If he does this, I do this. If he goes here, I go here. And if you study enough, you can get 20 moves into an opening knowing every single move you're going to play. So I studied that opening the whole night, and I didn't know who I was going to play the next day. I didn't know what they were going to play. It just so happened he walked right into my preparation. And the game just went so smooth. Everybody thought I was like I was a grandmaster or something like that, because I just had a response for every move, and it was so quick. It was just like boom, boom, boom. By move 15, he was done. He was cooked, and it just that was like the smoothest game I probably played.
That's fire.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that. I study for hours. But I think it was the first national tournament I went to in elementary school with Chris and the chess team, and I didn't have a rating, and I played in the unrated section, and they put me on. So when you go on these chess tournaments, there's like a big conference room, like it's a big floor, there's a bunch of tables, and then they usually have like a stage, right, where like three chess boards, whatever. I guess those were like the top players play and all that stuff.
Magnus and all them.
So they tried to feed me to the sharks, right? I had unrated, right, and they put me right on that stage, and I guess I played the best player. I didn't have a rating. I think I played under 1,000, I believe, and I played the top player in that bracket, and I beat him. And he was, turning red. I'm not gonna say his nationality. He's turning red. He was sweating. Everyone's standing there watching the game. They couldn't believe it. Like, who's this unrated kid? He comes and he beats the top player in this section. But to me, I think that was the first real like confirmation. Like, hey, you can do this, and you can be better than you think. And I was young, right? So that gave me the confidence to want to keep playing, to want to study now, because it was like, hey, I could actually win. I could beat. First time going to a tournament, I'll be the top player in my section. All right, let me push through with this and see where it goes. So I think I wouldn't say it was a perfect game, but I think it was perfect for my confidence.
And how do you compare that win to a win you might have gotten in basketball? Same type of feeling or different?
Yes. So basketball is different because basketball is like, everybody has those dreams, but basketball is like you either a shooter, you either a defender, you either a dunker. You either really it's like you can't be but so many things or a hybrid of them all. Chess, it's just like Chris said, you could study. He could have studied that opening all night, and the guy hit him with something else, and now he doesn't even know what to expect. So the moment you play against somebody in basketball, you could tell, all right,
he can't go left.
He can't go left, or he could jump. Let me not. You can pick up immediately. And a chessboard, you still don't know. You just don't know, because it might become mental exhaustion. It might be all of these things. So the person can start off really strong in the beginning, and then they can burn out. Or they can have a really weak end game, and a really strong opening and middle game, and then when it comes down to using those pawns and closing out a game, they might not know how to do it. So I think that's the difference between chess and basketball. Just the variations are endless with chess. Yeah, of course, you got to finish the fourth quarter. You got to go hard at basketball, right? I'm not saying you can't do that, but I think it's just, again, it goes back to options, more things to focus on when it comes to chess.
Yeah, and then in chess,
it's you.
Go ahead, brother.
And in chess too, you can make 50 perfect moves and be winning the entire game. And if move 51 is bad enough, done.
Game is over.
Game's done. Game is over. I've taught many kids where they'll take the opponent's queen, they'll take the rook, they'll take the bishop, take 4 or 5 pawns, have this massive material advantage, and then get back rank mated. And they come back crying. They don't want to look at the game. I'm like, well, we have to look at it. Take some time, breathe, cool out, but we got to look at the game, and I see it, and I'm like, yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
Chess is a very honest game, man. It's very honest. Like, you made a mistake somewhere.
And then going with chess, I think chess is like one of the hardest sports or one of the hardest games to build the tenacity, because when you lose, it's not on anybody else. It's on you. Nobody else missed that shot. Nobody stepped out of bounds, right? Like, it's all on you. You missed something on that board. And someone said this before too, like, all the answers in chess are in front of you. The best move is in front of you. It's up to you to find it and figure it out. And so when you lose a chess game, that's a very personal thing, because you lost that game. There's no other factors around it besides you just not making the right move.
Absolutely.
I think two things I got from you guys when you talk about like the perfect game stories. You know, from you I got never sell yourself too short. You know, and really play forward and just persist until you succeed. That's what I got from that. From yours, I heard this from this guy named Taekwondo. He said, from your story, based on how much you prepared, is proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's what I got from that as well.
I like that. I like that.
Before we end, I'm going to ask one last thing. I just got to ask, how'd y'all brothers feel about Queen's Gambit?
Oh.
I just got to ask.
I really, from a chess perspective, it was spot on. The guy that they had making sure that the chess part of it was right. Bruce Pandolfini, he's been around for a really long time. He was in the movie Searching for Bobby Fischer. He wrote a lot of books, but it was spot on. I wanted to show it to my students, but like she was taking drugs. So I was like, let me chill. There were certain scenes that I showed, but even like the feel for like when she was playing in tournaments, how she was preparing for tournaments, group of friends that they all study together. After the game, the little chit chat she would have with opponents, the lack of respect when you first come into the tournament and they don't know who you are, and then you start beating a couple people, and then they start to show love, they start to fear you a little bit, respect you more. It was really well put together. I really did like the show. Yeah,
and again too, like I mean, to see the perspective of a woman. You know, I just love the light is shined on that too, because I've gotten crushed by women, girls, plenty of times, right? And then at first I got humbled. I sat down, I'm like, "So, girl, I'm gonna be a saint." It's not a physical thing, and I had to learn that too. Like, this is the battle of the minds. So, again, it doesn't matter what that person looks like across from you. Like, it's all about who's the best thinker today. So, I thought it was really good to show like just how reality is and how sometimes women are not presented as superior in certain things, but she was crushing everybody. So I loved it.
And it was great for the game too. A lot of chess players emerged from watching that show.
And the ones that didn't play, like Chris said, the ones that didn't play, you seen Queen's Gambit? Like it was something to watch because it was on Netflix. It gave them exposure to chess.
Anytime I tell people I play chess, so have you seen Queen's Gambit? Yeah.
Sometimes I wish they'd be like, have you seen Queen of Katwe? But it's always like, I wish they would say that first. But it's again, it's another conversation. So.
Definitely. Gentlemen, I have to say, as someone that I know Jamell has had the pleasure of meeting you guys before, but as someone sitting here listening to the experiences and the expression as well that chess has brought to your life, but just how you guys have walked through life and what you're already doing, I think it's an honor and privilege to be sitting across from you guys, just even talking about this stuff and hearing from you. And I think, especially as someone that's in education, what you're doing is so phenomenal that we have kids that don't know much about anything and think that there's only so much more that life has to offer. That, oh well, I ain't gonna be nobody, Haynes. Why you telling me this? Or Haynes, I play soccer. Why are you telling me this? But there is so much that can come from starting something. You might look at it and think, oh, it's boring, or oh, like, nah, bro, that ain't for me, man. I'm too cool for this. But so much has come from it. So, gentlemen, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, even in our communities. So, thank you for the work that you're doing in our communities, the work that you're doing in New York, even in America, because I think stuff like this has such a far-reaching implication that you guys probably, you see the chessboard, but you haven't even seen how much the impact of what you have is doing. You teach one kid chess, he goes on, it changes his entire life. Now he teaches somebody else, and now everyone is learning and it connects, and it all started from the experiences that you guys have and what you've brought. So creativity in the game of chess, but also in the game of life. So thank you, gentlemen.
No, thank you for having us. I appreciate the kind words too.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
And a few things. I want Chris to share about one phenomenal young man that we've been a part of his life for a long time. And I want Chris to share about him, and then I'll share about just what our vision is for Project Pawn and
definitely
and where we want to take it. So
so I worked at a charter school for some time. And so I had a team, and at first there was this girl. She was the captain of the team. When she first came on the team, she didn't really want to play. She cried every week because she wasn't the best player, right? She was in kindergarten. I just kind of saw the potential there. She's like, I'm teaching kids how to move the rook, and she's not only moving the rook, she's like, okay, I'm gonna line the rook up with this pawn, I'm gonna take that pawn, I'm gonna put my rook here, take that pawn. Like, she had a real strategy already just from learning how the pieces move. So I put her on the team. She didn't like it, and mom and dad were like, we're gonna take off the team. I said, give it a couple more weeks, just give it a little bit more time and see what happens. Next thing you know, she's like beating everybody, best player on the team. Next school year comes around, her little brother now comes into the school. He's in kindergarten. And dad comes to me and he's like, look, I can't pick them up at different times from after school. Can he just sit in the room and like at least do his homework or something? And I said, look, as long as he's not an issue, as long as he don't give me any problems, he can sit in the back, he can do his homework, whatever. So, a couple weeks go by, he's doing that. And one day, now the kids are all on the rug, we're going over a position, and I asked him, what's the best move in this position? None of the kids, and he's in kindergarten, they're all in 3rd grade, 4th grade, most of them. He raises his hand from the back of the room. No one else can answer the question. He raises his hand from the back of the room, he gets the answer right. So we all look, and we're like, okay, lucky guess. So then, asked another question, raised his hand again, got the answer right again. So now we're looking like, wow, okay, why don't you come join us? Sits down, he joins us, right? And the next thing you know, he's beating everybody in the school. Then he goes on and he's beating everyone in the network of schools that we had. And he's in 1st grade at the time. He's beating everyone from kindergarten up to 12th grade. And then to the point where he started to beat coaches as well.
Oh.
In 1st grade.
That's 6 years old. That's a 6-year-old kid.
And this was, he has to be 12 now? No, yeah, he has to be like 12, 13 now. Yeah, about 6 years ago. Fast forward to now, he just won the Tournament of Champions. And I forget what state, but he just won the Tournament of Champions. This kid he's the 2nd youngest chess player in America to become a master. At 10 years old, he became a master. Wow. And now he's working on becoming an international master, which is one step below grandmaster. Wow. But the Tournament of Champions is exactly what it sounds like in America for different age groups. And he won for his age group. He also won a national chess championship last year. He won his grade championship multiple times. Wow. This kid, and it just came from like, he could just sit in the back and do some coloring, do his homework, just as long as he's not a problem, to now being the best player at his age in America.
Wow, that's beautiful because y'all are part of that experience for him.
Yeah. I watched that kid go from not knowing anything. He didn't know what a square was. He didn't know how to tie. He was beating. I'm gonna head out. He was beating up on everybody. Again, from 1st grade to 12th grade, and he didn't know how to tie his shoes. That was crazy for me. He would be sitting at the board like legs crossed, like picking in his nose and just like destroying people on the board.
As long as you're doing it with the right hand, brother.
Yeah, he's doing it with the right hand, but yeah, he couldn't tie his shoes.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of chess. Like I love what Chris talks about. Brew, because
sorry, I didn't even say the kid's name. His name is Brewington Hardaway.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love because it shows so many connections. It shows the exposure, what exposure does. It shows what having an older sibling or sibling does that plays chess. It shows that having a supportive family does. It just shows just so many layers of what we love to see in our communities and what we push for. And that's what Project Pawn is all about. We're all about sparking those minds. So now this young man is in a position to change the trajectory of his family, just off of his ability to play chess, to help feed his family, to create opportunities for his family to travel. How many countries did he go to with the USA team?
Yeah, he's on a U.S. team. He's had to have been at least 5 different world championships.
Wow. So just all off of using your mind, right? Using this beautiful gift that we all have. and starting young, right? So the key here was he started at 5 years old. He was exposed super young to something that changed his life. So, which is why we jump in schools, we jump in elementary schools. We try to get in elementary schools first, middle schools, build programs, help these kids learn early. So even if they don't become the next Brew, they have these skills at an early age to learn how to deal with bullying, learn how to deal with sports, learn how to deal with the troubles of their environment, love how to the family drama, whatever it is that they go through, or even the good problems that they have, learning how to navigate through them. So that's what Project Pawn is all about. We're all about us. We're all about the kids. You know, we're both. I'm still an educator, a former educator, and you know, we knew the importance of having positive people in our lives that supported us. So you know, tip my hat off to what you guys are doing as well. Also to you for being an educator, because I'm telling you, like, it transcends. I went to a baby shower last Saturday, and two of my elementary school teachers were there because one of the kids that was having a baby, his mom was an educator at the school we both went to. And it was incredible for them to see us and they're like, God, look at you guys now. You're grown men, you have families, all of these things. And they started watering our seeds when we were younger, you know. So, you know, that's what we hope for. That's what we push for. You know, kids will come up to us later in life, you know, changing the world and say, hey, I appreciate Project Pawn and the program you guys started because it helped me do whatever it is that I wanted to accomplish. So I have this quote. I got this from a show. It was a Netflix show. But it sticks with me all the time, and I think any podcast I go on, I'm gonna say it because just let me know if this sounds just like chess or it sounds like life. It says chess is more than a game; it is strategy and uncertainty governed by choices.
The answer is yes to your question.
Right? Strategy and uncertainty. So anything we do in life, right? There's uncertainty. We don't know what's gonna happen. Right?
Yeah.
But it's us to make the choice to either prepare for it, have a strategy for it, so that way if it comes, we can kind of make the right move or the best move. Or if not, then, you know, just deal with whatever comes with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that connection, I wrote it down. I was just like, I gotta, this, I might even put it on my wall actually, because it just reminds us how important, you know, chess is and just how much repetition we can get in life by just playing the game.
Yeah. And one final thing, where can people find Project Pawn?
Okay. So Project Pawn, our handle is Project Pawn NYC.
I'll give y'all a follow right now.
Yeah, that's on Instagram, Twitter. We gotta get back on Twitter. Instagram, Twitter, and our website is projectpawngroup.com. So if you're hearing this, if you're interested, if you're an educator, if you want to bring this program to your community, to your school, or even if you know an organization that just likes to do things in the community, because we have a book bag drive coming up. We always are trying to do things to help the kids. Please reach out to us. And
Project Pawn.
Project
Pawn.
Yeah. Please reach out to us. We'll love to sit down, have a conversation, and figure out how we can connect the dots.
Yeah, and I'll say one last thing too. I think the biggest thing that the kids we service or we teach can get out of playing chess is knowing the consequences of your actions, whether good or bad. And I thought about this for years. Like, what's the one thing that really that kids can really get out of playing chess? And I think it really is the consequences of your actions. If I do this, what happens? If I don't do this, what happens? Mm-hmm. You know, and everything else ties into that as well.
No? Yes.
Yes.
Man, gentlemen, this has been quite the experience. I'm very thankful, very appreciative of you guys coming out to see. I think the timing was crazy. To both go to be in Atlanta for Invest Fest, and then I see you guys there, and you just so happen to live in New York. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just very appreciative of this moment right now. Yeah, you are two great brothers right here.
Thank you, and so are you, both of you.
Yeah, appreciate it. We love the work you guys are doing, you know, and shout out to also Invest Fest. You know, those guys are doing it on an enormous level. Mm-hmm. Just financial literacy, just getting our people opening their minds to things that can help create generational wealth. So we see how chess can connect the dots with that, right? Because, you know, with that knowledge, now if you have the skill set to strategically plan on top of the knowledge of financial literacy or investments or just learning how to manage anything, it can create some really powerful superstars in our community. So it all connects, when it's all about pumping back into us, we love it. And it was great to meet you. And, I'm grateful for this opportunity to share on your platform.
Indeed, we appreciate it. And one last shout out to the Gentleman's Factory. We're here. This is where the magic is happening at. And this is, if y'all didn't notice, this is actually a remodeled space right now. We got a new vibe, new aesthetic going on. So we thank you guys for, just continuing to tune in and continue to rock with us. And we're going to keep making these expressions and turn them into experiences.
Yeah, man.
We
got to do a part 2 to this, too. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Y'all invited to the cookout.
Yeah, shout out to the Gentleman's Factory, man.
This place is nice, yeah.
I had a really good friend of mine, Gildia Lopez. She has Brothers in Briefcases. She did her event here a couple of months ago. I was here. And when I walked in, I was just like, it's so warm, so welcoming, and it's just all of the Black excellence everywhere in here. So, shout out to the founder of the Gentleman's Factory and just the whole coalition. This is awesome.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, that was another episode of Soul Exp, guys. This is your boy, Jamell.
I'm your boy, Daniel, just saying thank you for tuning in with us. We got some more content coming. So definitely follow Project Pond. Check them out. They're doing amazing work, as you've heard for yourself. And with that, live your life with purpose and keep that perspicacity. That's the word from Jamell, perspicacity.
How do you spell that, man?
We're just going to end the show right now. Nah, we catch y'all.
All right.
Hey, everyone. This is Daniel alongside
Jamell.
And we just want to say thank you for tuning in to another episode of Soul Exp The Podcast. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate the love, the comments, the feedback, everything. So we just wanted to say thank you for, tuning in and rocking with us for the last few weeks and the weeks to come.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys very much. It means so much for all the love and support that we're getting. And we just want to keep providing you guys value and, let's keep making experiences.
Let's keep making experiences. More to come, brother. More to come.